Hey everyone, this is RJ Productions here, and today we got something unique for you. We're coming from an exclusive location. We are at Elite Jet Solutions today. This is my buddy Ray. This is his business, and so he was gracious enough to allow us to set up this set. We're also going to be giving you our top 5 likes, things that we love about the bike, and then we're also going to give you things that we hate about the bike or things that we dislike about the bike and that Harley could have did different. And then we're going to let you know whether you should look into buying one of these bikes and some of the pros and cons. So I'm going to take it away. So, and just so you know, we're going to do something a little unique. So I am going to step out. I have not seen Ray's top 5. I have not seen his worst 5. He hasn't seen mine. So he's going to record his now. I'm going to step out and then I'm going to do mine. And then what we're going to do, we're going to come together so that way you get 2 unique perspectives. I hadn't told him things, he hadn't told me things, so you can get the true perspective from each one of us. So, all right, Ray, take it away. Tell them a little bit about Elite Jet Solutions and whatever you want to tell them about yourself.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Ray Weeks, as Ron was mentioning. I'm the other guy that Ron has mentioned in the videos of a buddy of his that had purchased the 2023 CVO, or 2023 and a half is what we know it by.
Yes.
2023 CVO. We followed these bikes for probably a little bit over a year.
Over a year.
Just following, see how the production was coming, see what new things they were adding into it. But yeah, so Elite Jet Solutions here, we're a maintenance, repair, and overhaul facility. We basically do maintenance on business jets. We started up probably around 2016. We've been in this location for probably about 5 years out of Arlington, Texas. So anyways, aviation is our main love and main priority, but we also, do things on the side, that we really like and we really enjoy. And one of the things that I really enjoy is doing Harleys and riding. Never really thought I would get into Harleys. It took me quite some time to really warm up to them. Came from the sport bike world, always had sport bikes, did dirt bikes and stuff. So being on a Harley, especially one that has performance, like the 23 and a half CVO here, is just astounding. I mean, it's as far as a Harley product and a motorcycle, my first Harley that I owned was a 2020 Heritage Softail.
Right.
I ended up putting a stage 2 on it, D&D exhaust, and we did a little bit of stuff to it, but nothing like these bikes, right? So as far as bagger wise, this is the first bagger that I've actually owned individually.
Yeah.
First CVO that I've actually owned and purchased. But for overall, as far as performance, man, it hangs with the street bikes and sport bike world. So
yeah, and one of the things that you guys may have heard, because I know you've seen Ray on some of the episodes, but Ray and I both got our first Harley in 2020.
Yes.
So he got his 2020 Heritage. Yeah, me and Ray, we knew each other from church, but we wasn't really like that close. So I didn't know he was getting a Harley. He didn't know I was getting a Harley. We both had sport bikes and things like that, but we've never ridden together. And then Ray got his 2020 Heritage as a gift from his wife for his birthday.
Yeah.
And then probably like, I don't know, maybe, I don't know. I got mine July 4th, so I don't know how long.
June, so beginning of June.
So like a month difference.
Right.
Right. I get my Harley, my 2020, didn't know I was going to get it. Got it because the old COVID thing and was just looking for something to do. And I ended up with the Street Glide over here. And so then we kind of started talking. We started riding together and getting to know each other. And, we've expanded to this. So we'll sit down with you guys and kind of give you some of our story. That's coming on a later video that we're going to be doing. But right now, I'm going to head and let Ray kind of get into his top 5 and top, I guess you would say, worst things 5 things that he doesn't like about the bike. And I'm going to step out and let him do it. And then I'll come back and do mine and we'll reconvene. All right. It's all yours, buddy.
All right, guys. So here we are again with the 23 and a half CVO. This is the dark platinum. Obviously, Ron has the Whiskey Neat model, which is over here to your right. The dark platinum, obviously, great paint scheme, really nice color. I've done some add-ons. I'll just briefly go through the add-ons so you kind of know where the bike stands as far as performance and all that good stuff. So obviously, we upgraded the air cleaner here, got additional fog lights added down here on the bottom, had a harness made by a gentleman named Tim. Super great guy. He's in the Harley industry. A lot of people know of him. Did a little bit of paint work, added the Harley #1 right there. Obviously added the tour pack, just like Ron has done. We actually had the opportunity, since I got the first, or I was the second purchase CVO out of the state of Texas. I was able to send my seat off to California for Bad Boy Cycles to be able to redo the seat. George is such a phenomenal guy, great guy. So he gave me, man, he turned it super quick, gave us a unique style, which we see today on a lot of other seats that he is doing as well. Super comfortable with the gel in there. The back seat is same print, and then obviously we have the backrest to kind of match it. Obviously you can see the windscreen has been changed up here. This is the third windscreen. I'll go through a little bit about the windscreen, but I won't get into too big of details on this, just because Ron has already given a great video on these windscreens. If you haven't gone and seen that video, I highly suggest that you go and check out the video for RJ Productions, where he goes in and breaks down the windscreen on the deal. So basically I'm gonna get into the positives. So as far as 2023 and a half CVO with the Road Glide here, my positive sides to this is going to be the performance. So the thing that I love the most about the performance on it basically falls into the electronic side of the bike. I know a lot of people were super skeptical about the electronics, just from what we had seen the year prior to the bike coming out. Everybody was super concerned because electronics always have issues and stuff. And with me being in the aviation industry, we deal with electronics all the time. Obviously, tech is changing, aircraft change as far as tech as well. But what I really like about the tech side of the bike is the modes for the performance side are probably about 4 months into having the bike. We were coming out of Branson, going back down into Fayetteville, Arkansas, and we got caught in a hellacious rainstorm. And the thing that was super cool about the bike was being able to switch over the mode from being in mode A or mode B, but being able to go into the rain mode was just really good. I mean, it's so cool how it changes the dynamic of the bike. Being able to take out the engine vibration, being able to lock in more on the ABS side. I mean, the whole nine, just the technology behind it is super cool. So that's my first positive. I love the mode change. I love that we're able to go in and program mode A and mode B, which I think is very phenomenal. My second positive is about the suspension. You know, Harley talked about doing the inverted forks and then coming back and doing some stuff in the back and the rear suspension. I think Harley did a really great job as far as the suspension, the adjustability in the rear, to be able to get it dialed in for you and your passenger. And then obviously on the left-hand side of the bike, we have the adjustability of the left side for your luggage once you start adding more weight and stuff. So super positive there. And then the third thing that I really love about the bike is the VVT, right? So the VVT obviously changes the whole dynamic of the engine, because now we're getting performance on the bottom end of the engine and on the top end of the engine, which I really enjoy. You know, there's times, as we all know, as being motorcycle riders, there's times that we'll run into situations where somebody pulls out in front of you, or you might need to get up and get around. And the hand and eye coordination of that, and having to switch gears and do all that stuff to be able to get up and around, or whatever the case may be, the VVT kind of helps you be able to pull through those situations or areas, which I really like. I mean, just the low end torque on this thing is phenomenal, high end as well. And it feels like the bike is, as far as the VVT, it feels like the bike is a point where it can have a whole lot more potential. And it's like it's just capsulated in there. So I'm super excited to see what's to come out of a lot of these motorcycle gearheads that really deep dive into these engines and and try to figure out how to make them perform better with the way they're set up now, without having to go through cam replacements and all that other stuff, heads, lifters, whatever it is. So the fourth thing that I really liked was when I first got the bike, there wasn't a lot of stuff that we could do to the bikes just due to it being such a new model. There wasn't a lot of products to be able to buy. But one of the things that I ended up purchasing was the 10-inch windscreen from Harley. As you can see now, I have the Clockworks 10-inch windscreen on there. Phenomenal windscreen, really, really great windscreen. But the 10-inch Harley windscreen that they came out with was really great. And the thing that I liked about it the most was also the benefits for the passenger. So what I see as far as the difference between, now of course I haven't had my wife ride with me with the 10-inch, but when I switched over from the 10-inch Harley to the 13-inch Clockworks, my wife started to experience more buffering on the top of her helmet, which she wasn't experiencing on the 10-inch. Unfortunately, I ended up just recently putting this 10-inch on, so maybe potentially we might have a little bit more updates on this later on. But that 10-inch windscreen was really phenomenal. It looked decent. It didn't have a tint, like a dark tint to it, so it was kind of clear. But overall, it was a great windscreen. It protected the rear passenger, which I like. Obviously, we know the saying, happy wife, happy life. So number 5 for me is gonna be the fuel efficiency. Man, I mean, just kind of have to circle back to the beginning when I talked about the performance. As far as the modes and adjustability, I've been able to go in to the modes and dial in where I'm probably getting about 15, anywhere from 10 to 15 more miles to a tank than what Ron was experiencing. We would go on some trips and Ron would say that he has to pull over and get fuel. And I'm like, man, I still got another 80 miles. And he's like, man, I'm right there. I'm fixing to have the fuel light on. So I love the fuel efficiency with it. I have done some other additional upgrades. I did the power commander, which we know is basically, it is a system that deviates around the ECU to be able to get into the performance of the engine. I put that unit on, very great unit. The positives to that unit was it took out a lot of the, what I would consider back pressure, kind of where the engine has more backfire when you're coming into those lower gears. It basically removed that out. It basically took the engine and put it into more on the performance side, got rid of the roughness in the engine. I think really it was helping with what we probably would see as the EPA restrictions. So those, being able to deviate around some of those on the power commander was a great positive for the motorcycle. Right now I'm currently running the ECU impact wiring solutions. That is a direct replacement. So remove the Harley ECU and install the direct ECU from Impact Wiring Solutions. I mean, we'll get into more of that later, but for right now, those are the top 5 reviews that I have. And then we will switch over and we will get into the 5 negatives of the Harley 23.5 CVO coming at you shortly. Hey everyone, back with RJ Productions. I'm gonna be doing the 5 negatives on the 23.5 CVO Road Glide here. Obviously, we already have a video out, that Ron has a video out for the pros. Go and check that video out if you haven't seen it, but right now we're gonna be doing the 5 negatives. This is just my opinion. Ron's gonna be doing his separately. And so right now, I'm gonna talk about the suspension side. The suspension is, obviously it's the best that Harley's done in a long time. Usually when you buy a lot of bikes, you've got to go out and buy upgraded suspension, Öhlins, and other different brands that provide great suspension with adjustability. So this CVO Road Glide is the first time Harley has come out with a little bit of different style. The negative to this suspension for me is going to be no adjustability for the front, which obviously we see that they have come out with on the 24 ST models, CVO ST models, which is super, which I get it, right? I mean, they've got to be able to bring out another product to be able to sell more Harleys and stuff. So I kind of understand that. But, you know, the talk that was kind of discussed, or kind of what we were hearing, was that the suspension was going to just be like top of the line. The suspension is, you know, for me, is, I would say out of a 1 to 10, I would say it's probably going to be around a 6. The reason I pick a 6 is because there's a little bit of adjustability here in the back of the bike, right? So you're able to set your preload for you and your rider, and then you're able to have some adjustability when it comes to adding luggage and more weight to the bike, which is great. But as far as the front suspension, there's no adjustability to be able to lighten up on the dampening, or to be able to make it a little stiffer. You know, as we ride across the US, you know, the roads vary depending on where you're at, whether if they're rough or smooth or anyway. So it would have been great for them to be able to put that adjustability into the front part of the bike, but here we are. So my second negative thing for the 23.5 CVO Road Glide is going to be the Apple CarPlay. Obviously, a lot of people had this at the very beginning when the bikes started coming out. People were posting questions of, how do I get Apple CarPlay to work? It seems like the headset has to be connected in order for the Apple CarPlay to work. I thought it was super cool that Harley took the initiative to be able to give you a free headset, but the headset was, you know, I mean, as much as these bikes run and cost, I think the headset could have been a little bit higher grade. With Ron having his and then me having my headset, we tried both of them, and neither one of those headsets would work accurately once you got them installed into the helmet. So with the Apple CarPlay, that has been the frustrating part, is having to have a headset connected to it. So I know there are people that have come out with adapters now that we're able to put underneath the seat. I'll get into that a little bit later when I give some more details of all the things and upgrades that we've done to the bike. Number 3 is going to be the saddlebags. Obviously, Harley, to be able to get weight reduction on the bike, they obviously made the saddlebags a lot thinner, less durable. So I did some upgrades on the speakers, but I can already start to see a little bit of the wear that is going to happen to that saddlebag lid, just due to the weight of the speaker and the lid not having an actual really good structure behind it to support it. So really, when you're opening it up, you have to support the lid. You got to make sure that you don't just let the lid fall, because over time it's going to cause effects to where you're going to have a lot of wear and tear, and potentially could rip that hinge off. So I think it's great for the weight reduction. It's just, you know, once you start putting upgrades on those speakers, on those lids, you're going to start to see issues down the road. So that's kind of a negative for me. And then I feel like on my 4th negative is going to be basically the Harley Davidson with the VVT model. The 23.5 CVOs and Road Glides and Street Glides, we see that they put in the VVT here in the 121 engine. And then, I mean, probably not 6 months later, maybe 8 months later, they come out with the CVO ST, which has the 121 engine in it without the VVT. And I feel like, as a consumer purchasing the bike, I feel like Harley just totally gave up on the VVT, which is a negative for me. So now we're having to wait a little bit longer for people to do more performance upgrades. We might not even see people do performance upgrades to be able to keep the VVT in. We know that you can delete the VVT by upgrading the cam and doing all that stuff, but the whole purpose and the thing that we really loved about the bike the year prior to it coming out was the option for the VVT and the performance side of it. So it's kind of frustrating for Harley to kind of just give up on the VVT here and kind of leave us, you know, however many of these bikes they produce, and just leave the consumer out there hanging on as far as performance. So, and then number 5, probably my only, I mean, I don't know if this would be go to the top of the list, but my number 5 is going to be just the brake pedal. I feel like the brake pedal's position, right? Of course, there's options to be able to go out and get additional to move the brake pedal in a different position. I think it just, as far as like the footboards and the way that was positioned, I just feel like there really wasn't enough thought into where that brake pedal should be positioned, especially on a performance bike. Because when we really look at it as a whole, when we're trying to run these bikes, I'm a super aggressive rider. Ron as well, he's super aggressive. But when you get into those types of deals, I mean, having to go in and spend money to be able to change the position of the brake pedal, for me, is kind of frustrating. But so those are my top 5 negatives. Here shortly, I'm going to be doing a little bit of reviews of the things that I've done to the bike. So come and check that video out, and Ron's going to go through some of his stuff as well. And so we will catch up with you here shortly. Thanks.